So we'll start with the next one called as pteridophytes. Pteridophytes is coined by, the word is coined by Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel has coined the word pteridophytes. The father of pteridophytes. The father of pteridophytes is Theophrastus. So Theophrastus is called as the father of pteridophytes. The study of pteridophytes. The study of pteridophytes is called pteridology. It is called pteridology. So it is nothing but the study of pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are also called as first vascular plants. They are called as the first vascular plants, where xylem and phloem begins from pteridophytes. So here the xylem and phloem begins here, so they are called as first vascular plants. They are also called as vascular cryptogams. They are also called as vascular cryptogams. Vascular cryptogams. Pteridophytes are also called as botanical snakes. They are also called as botanical snakes. Pteridophytes are also called as vascular amphibians. They are also called as vascular amphibians. They are also called as, pteridophytes are also called as seedless tracheophyta. Seedless tracheophyta. So here they are called as vascular cryptogams, botanical snakes, vascular amphibians, seeds of or seedless tracheophyta. They are also called as snakes of plant kingdom. They are also called as snakes of plant kingdom. Or it is also called as reptiles of plant kingdom. It may be called as snakes, or it is also called as reptiles. Reptiles of plant kingdom. So all this are nothing but pteridophytes. So pteridophytes is coined by Ernest Haeckel, and the father of taxonomy is Theophrastus, and study is called as pteridology. Pteridophytes are called as lower vascular plants. So here the xylem and phloem begins, hence they are called as lower vascular plants. So in some of the pteridophytes in xylem vessels are absent. Vessels are absent. Normally in a xylem there are 4 components are there. One is called as tracheids, trachea. Trachea is also called as vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. But here vessels called as a trachea is absent in some of the pteridophytes. When we go for a phloem called as food conducting tissue, in this food conducting tissue companion cell and sieve tube is absent. Some of the lower vascular plants, in some of the pteridophytes, companion cells and sieve tubes are absent. So when we go for a stem of equisetum, example, stem of equisetum. In this stem of Equisetum, vessels are present. Vessels are present. So as I said, vessels are absent in some of the pteridophytes, but in the Equisetum, vessels are present. And the other one, example called as Isotes. So this Isotes is also called as krillworts. So in this krillworts, there is a presence of secondary growth. So normally pteridophytes do not have secondary growth, but in this Isotes, there is a presence of secondary growth. So secondary growth is nothing but growth in the grit, growth in the diameter, that is called as secondary growth. In this Isotes, there is a presence of secondary growth. Next one is Coxonia. So this is one of the pteridophytes called as Coxonia. This is called as the first land plant. First, it is called as the first land plant. So the first land plant has the presence of vascular tissue. It is called as the first land plant have the presence of vascular tissue. So this is called as Coxonia. So we go for the next one. So we'll go for pteridophytes including horsetails. Pteridophytes including horsetails and ferns. So here horsetails and ferns, they are called as medicinal plants. So these plants, they are medicinal plants, and majority of the pteridophytes are ornamental plants. Ornamental plants. So medicinal plants, ornamental plants, and they are present in the different habitats, like it is growing in the cool places, damp places, and shady places, shady habitats. So here the pteridophytes prefers to grow in the cool places, damp places, and shady places or shady damp habitats. These plants will be growing. Next, the plant body is differentiated, or the plant body has the presence of sporophyte. So here the main plant body. So the main plant body is sporophyte. So the meaning of sporophyte, the plant which produces spores. The first one is sporophyte, which produces spores. Here the plant body is differentiated. The sporophyte is differentiated into true root system. True root system is present, stem is present, and also leaves are also been present. So here there is a presence of true root system, stem, and leaves. All these are present in the plant body called as sporophyte. So leaves of pteridophytes. So when we talk about leaves, so leaves of pteridophytes are of two types. So here leaves of pteridophytes are of two types. So when the leaves are small, they are called as the pteridophytes which produces the leaves which are smaller. They are called as microphylls. Small leaves have been present, hence they are called as microphylls. This can be noticed in a plant called as Selaginella. So example called as Selaginella, it has the presence of smaller sized leaf called as microphylls. In some, the leaves are larger. The bigger leaves have been present, larger leaves have been present, and thus leaves are called as macrophylls. When the leaves are larger, they are called as macrophylls. So this can be noticed in a plant called as Lycopodium. Lycopodium equisetum. In all this, there is a presence of macrophylls. So the macrophylls are also noticed in Teres, Marsilia. In all this, there is a presence of macrophyllous leaves have been present. Now, we'll go for the plant body. The plant body sporophyte. The plant body sporophyte is present. It is bearing a sporangia. So here the sporophyte bears sporangia. So this sporangia has the presence of leaf or leaves have been present. So when a sporophyll is bearing the leaves, then it is called as sporangia. So there is a presence of the leaves are present in the sporophyll is called as sporangia. So here again we go for the sporophylls. So this sporangia is distinct compact structures. So here it is a compact structure called, compact structure of a sporangia is called as strobili, or it may be called as cones. So here it is called as strobili or cones have been present, and this type of strobili and cones can be noticed in Selaginella. It is noticed in Selaginella. So we start with the spore mother cell. So spore mother cells of sporangia. So here the sporangia, the chlorophyll with leaves is called as sporangia. In this sporangia, the spore mother cell undergoes meiosis. It undergoes meiosis called as reductional division, and this produces spores. So here the spore mother cell undergoes meiosis to produce the spore. So here the spores are usually develops, the spores further develops into a prothallus. Here the spore, I'll repeat this, the spore mother cell undergoes meiosis to produce spores, and this spores germinates. This spores germinate to give rise to free living prothallus. So this prothallus is having the presence of male as well as female sex organs have been present. On the prothallus, it is gametophytic. So the prothallus is gametophytic, which has the presence of male sex organs. So the male sex organs is called as antheridium. The male sex organs is called as antheridium, and the female sex organs, is called as archegonium. So here both on the prothallus is green and they are gametophytic. So this has the presence of male sex organs called as antheridium, and the female sex organs are called archegonium. And this sex organs are multicellular. These sex organs are multicellular and has the presence of sterile Jockeit cells. Sterile Jockeit cells have been present. So this Jockeit cells are nothing but the covering of the sex organs by the multicellular sterile Jockeit cells have been present. So antheridium produces the male gamete. The antheridium, the male sex organs, produces a male gamete called as anther-zooid. So they produces a male gamete, and this male gamete called as anther-zooids. So once the anther-zooids are released from the antheridium, they swim in the water. Goes and reaches to the mouth of archegonium. So, when they reach the mouth of the archegonium, reach the female sex organs, and they pass through that and fuse with the female gamete called as egg. So, here the antherizooids swim in the water, reach the archegonium. Once they reach the archegonium, inside the archegonium, the antherizooids fuses with the egg cell, to form a zygote. So, here the male gamete called as antherizooid fuses with a female gamete called as egg to give rise to zygote. So, this zygote is a multicellular. The zygote gives rise to multicellular sporophytes. Multicellular sporophyte is being formed from the zygote, and the sexual reproduction here is always by oogamous type. Oogamous type of sexual reproduction is being present. The word oogamous, the meaning of oogamous, it is a female gamete is larger, non-motile, whereas a male gamete is smaller and motile. These gametes are fused, and this is called as oogamous type of reproduction. So, here majority of the pteridophytes or all of the pteridophytes produces the spores, and these spores are similar. The spores produced here will be same type. Similar kind of spores are being produced. In majority of the pteridophyte. Hence, they are called as homosporous. So, the meaning of homosporous, similar type or similar kind of spores are being produced in majority of the pteridophytes. Hence, they are called as homosporous. So, when we go for the different types of spores are also produced. Here, different types of spores are being produced, and this is called as heterosporous. Here, in some of the pteridophytes, there is a different types of spores are being produced. So, it is called as heterosporous type of spores are being produced. Different types of spores are being produced. Here, one called as the smaller spore. Different types means one is a smaller spore and the other one is a bigger spore. Here, the smaller spore is always called as, the small spore gives, or it is called as, the smaller spore is always called as microspore. So, these microspores, they always further develops into male gametophytes. So, here important, the smaller spores are called as microspores. The microspores further develops into male gametophyte, whereas the larger spores, bigger spores, the bigger spores are called as megaspores, or we use a word macrospores. So, the bigger spores, megaspores, they always gives rise to a female gametophyte. They give rise to female gametophytes. So, here the male gametophyte is developed from microspore and the female gametophyte is developed from the megaspore. So, these spores fuse together to give rise to zygote. The male and female gametes are fused together to give rise to zygote, and this zygote undergoes repeated divisions to give rise to embryo, and this embryo gives rise to a new plant. So, this is about pteridophytes. So, we start with the next one called as classification of pteridophytes. So, here all the pteridophytes are classified into 4 classes. Here it is classified into 4 classes. The first one called as class Psilopsida. Class Psilopsida. So, this is called as primitive vascular plant. They are called as primitive. primitive vascular plant comes under class Psilopsida, and the example coming under this is called as Psilotum. So example is called as Psilotum, and this is the only living genus. It is the only living genus present in the class Psilopsida. So it is also called as a living fossil. It is also called as living fossil. So here one of this is called as Rhynia. So living fossil Rhynia, this is called as rootless vascular plants. So here roots are absent and they are fossils. So they are called as rootless vascular fossil plant, comes under the Psilopsida. So we go for a second one called as class Lycopsida. Class called as Lycopsida. So here this class Lycopsida is commonly called as club mosses. It is also called as club mosses. So here Lycopsida has the presence of the microphylla. Here the leaves which are very very smaller, so they have the presence of microphylla. Microphylla have been present, has a leaves present, smaller leaves have been present. Now we will go for the examples. Examples of Lycopsida, one is called as Lycopodium. So this Lycopodium is also called as club moss. It is also called as club moss, or it is also called as ground pipe. So it is called as club moss or ground pine or pipe. So we use the word ground pine. The second example is called as Selaginella. Selaginella. So in this, Selaginella is also called as bird nest moss. Bird nest moss. So this is the other name for Selaginella. It is also called as little club moss. Little club moss. So this is called as Selaginella. The next one is called as Isotis. Isotis is also called as krillworts. It is called as krillworts. And the other one example is called as, it is called as Lepidodendron. It is called as, the other example is called as Lepidodendron. This is called as giant club moss. Giant club moss. This is called as Lepidodendron, present in the class Lycopsida. Spinopsida. So third class is called as Spinopsida. Here the examples coming under the Spinopsida is Equisetum. So Equisetum is commonly called as horse tails. They are commonly called as horse tails. So this is one of the example, and the other example is, it is called as Hyenia. The other example is Hyenia, and the other example is Spinophylla. Spinophylla. So all this are the examples of class Spinopsida. So we go for the fourth class. So the class is called as Pteropsida. So Pterodopsida, or it may be called as Pteropsida. So Pterodopsida can be called, or we use the word Pteropsida. So this commonly called as ferns. In this, the plants coming under this are commonly called as ferns. So here the examples, here the leaves are always macrophyllous. Here the leaves are always bigger, hence they are called as macrophyllous leaves have been present. And the examples for this is Pteris. So example for Pteridopsida is Teres dryophyllum or Dryoteres. Teres Dryoteres. Dryoteres is also called as Broke shield fern. So they are also called as Broke shield fern. This is one. The next one is called as Adentium. So in this Adentium, this is commonly called as walking fern. Walking fern. And some more examples are there. So we go for the other examples. So other examples, one is called as Azolla. So Azolla is also called as aquatic fern. So this Azolla is called as the smallest pteridophyte. They are called as smallest pteridophyte. So when you go for the other example called as Pteridium. So Pteridium is also called as sun fern. Sun fern is also called as broken fern. So we go for the next example, Alsophylla. So this is called as a tree fern. Alsophylla is called as a tree fern, which is called as the largest tree in pteridophytes. So it appears like a tree and it is called as the largest tree in pteridophytes. Next example is Marsilia. So Marsilia is also called as pepperwort fern. They are called as pepperwort fern. The other example called as Osmunda, it is called as royal fern. Osmunda is called as royal fern. Ophioglossum. So this Ophioglossum is also called as adder's tongue fern. So in this, it is called as one of the pteridophyte plant where the chromosome number is very huge. Each cell or one cell has the presence of the chromosome number 2n is equal to 1000 to 60. And the other one example called as Salvinia. This is also called as sorrow of Kashmir. So all these examples are very important for your NEET exam. So you can recall this and remember. So we are going for the next heading called as gymnosperms. So here gymno means it is called as naked. Sperms means seeded. So here gymnosperms are called as naked seeded plants. Here the seeds are not covered by the fruit wall. It is not covered by the fruit wall, hence they are called as naked seeded plants. Now the term gymnosperms. The term gymnosperm is coined by, it is coined by Theophrastus. So we know that Theophrastus is called as the father of botany. So this person was round about 300 BC. So this Theophrastus has written a book called as The Enquiry into the Plants. He has written a book called as Enquiry into the Plants. This is the title of the book written by Theophrastus. In his book, he mentioned about gymnosperms. So the gymnosperm word is coined by Theophrastus. Next, the father of gymnosperms. The father of gymnosperms is Robert Brown. Robert Brown is called as the father of gymnosperms. The study of gymnosperms. The study of gymnosperms is called gymnospermology. It is called as gymnospermology. spermology. So it is nothing but the study of gymnosperms. The study of gymnosperms is called as gymnospermology. The father of gymnospermology or gymnosperms is called as Robert Brown, and it was coined by Theophrastus. Now we'll go for gymnosperms in detail. The ovules in the gymnosperms are not covered, are not enclosed by the fruit wall. Hence, gymnosperms are also called as naked seeded plants. It is called as naked seeded plants. Here, the gymnosperms, the seeds are or the ovules are not covered by the fruit wall. Hence, they are called as naked seeded plants. In this gymnosperms, there are round about 900 species of gymnosperms have been present. 900 species of gymnosperms have been present in this. So, one of this is called as cycas. So, this cycas comes under a class called as Cycadapsida. Cycadapsida. So here cycas is also called as palm trees. So here this is coming under a class called as Cycadapsida, and the other one is called as Pinus. The Pinus comes under the class called as Coniferopsida. The class is called as Coniferopsida. So cycas, Cycadapsida, Pinus comes under Coniferopsida. So in this Coniferopsida, there is the tallest tree. There is a tallest tree, or we call it as gigantic tree, called as Siliquia. So this is very important for your NEET exam also. So Siliquia, this is called as giant redwood tree, called as giant redwood tree. So this Siliquia is called as giant redwood tree. It is also called as the father of trees. It is also called as the father of trees. So here Siliquia is called as the tallest tree, and they are commonly called as the father of trees. Here the gymnosperms are, there is the presence of medium sized trees have been present. Medium sized trees have been present. The tallest trees are also present, tall trees, and even shrubs. So here this is the plant body habitats. So gymnosperms, there is a presence of medium sized trees, tall trees as I mentioned about, giant redwood tree, and there is a presence of shrubs are also being present. Now we will step into the plant body in detail. So here the plant body is differentiated into root, stem and leaf. So we are talking about first root. So all the gymnosperms has the presence of taproot system. So here the root is always called as taproot system. So as we know that the taproot is nothing but there is a presence of the primary root followed by secondary and tertiary root. So that is called as taproot system. So here especially in cycas, there is the association of algal material as well as the fungal material with the root system. For example, when you take a main root called as primary root followed by the secondary root, and this is followed by the tertiary root. So in the presence of bacteria, it makes a small holes, and this lenticels, small holes. Through these small holes, the algal material called as Nostoc anabina enters into the root through the lenticel and forms a algal layer in the cortex of the root. So when you go for an anatomy of a root, when we go for an anatomy of a root, the outermost layer of the root is called as epiblemma. The outermost layer of the root is called as epiblemma. Next to this, there is a presence of, at the center, there is a presence of xylem and phloem. There is a presence of xylem and phloem is present, and this region is called as cortex. Once the algae penetrates into the root and forms a algal layer in the cortex, so it forms a algal layer in the cortex. Here immediately the root is converted into a finger-like projections. Here the root is converted to finger-like projections, and this type of root are called coralloid root. So in the cycas or in gymnosperms, along with the taproot system, coralloid roots are also present. In some, instead of algae, fungi can penetrate. So the fungi which is penetrating into the roots are called as mycorrhizal fungi. It is called as mycorrhizal fungi, which is entering into the root and helps in the formation of fungal layer. So when an algae enters, it is called as algal layer. When a fungi enters into the root, this is called as fungal layer formed in the cortex, and this is converted to coralloid root. So here this mycorrhizal fungi are in the coralloid root. They also helps in nitrogen fixation. So this is about the root. There is a presence of taproot system as well as coralloid root. So here the algae and fungi, they act along with the root in the form of symbiosis. So the coralloid roots are always negatively geotrophism. The coralloid roots are negatively geotrophism. So we know that always roots move towards gravity. They are called as geotrophic. The stem always moves to the light is called as phototrophism. But here the coralloid roots are negatively geotrophic, so they always try to move upwards in the soil. So they also helps in nitrogen fixation. Now we'll go for the next one called as stem. The stem of cycas is usually unbranched stem. The stem is not having the presence of branching. So the branching is totally absent in the cycas, and usually on the stem there is a presence of leaf scars. So this is called as leaf scar. When leaves are fallen down on the stem, it gives a mark on the stem, and this mark is called as leaf scars. So this is unbranched, has the presence of leaf scars. Now when we go for the stem of the pinus, so the stem of the pinus, it is always branched stem is present. Here there is a presence of branching is also present. So in gymnosperms, the stem may be branched or unbranched, but here the unbranched one is usually called as cycas, and the branched stem is always called as pinus. So here there is both branching and unbranching have been present. Next, when we go for a word called as leaf, here the leaf of a gymnosperms, it may be a simple leaf or it may be a compound leaf. Here both simple leaf is also present, in some compound leaves are also present, especially when we go for a cycas. In a cycas, there is a presence of compound pinnate leaf, or we use a word pinnate compound leaf. Pinnate compound leaf is being present. So in a compound leaf there are different types: pinnate, unipinnate, tripinnate, or we call it as bipinnate, like this. So it is a unipinnate compound leaf is present in the cycas. So in a cycas, the leaves are always called as evergreen. Evergreen leaves, because here evergreen leaf because it never dries. So it is always present as it is. So it never dries at all. So when we go for one more called as pinus. In the pinus, the leaf is modified like a needles. Here needles like leaf is present. Here once the leaf is modified into needles, the surface area is highly reduced and also helps in or avoiding transpiration. So here the leaf is usually looks like a needles and they help in avoiding transpiration. So this is also one of the important character. So gymnosperms, they always grow more in all the environment, but it always grows more in extreme temperatures. In extreme temperatures, these plants are being grown. It is also grown in the damp areas, humid areas, or we call it as humidity. Some are xerophytic also. Xerophytic means they grow in a dry areas or desert areas. So here it is xerophytic. They are also called as succulent plants. So here succulent, xerophytic, they grow in extreme temperatures or humidities. The plants are growing. Next, all the gymnosperms, they are produce spores. So here the spores are of two types. One is called as heterosporous. So all the gymnosperms are heterosporous. So heterosporous condition. Here in gymnosperms we never found homosporous, but it's always heterosporous. So the meaning of heterosporous, it produces two types of spores. The first one is it always produces haploid microspore. So here the spores are smaller in size, hence they are called as microspores. And the other one is called as, again the bigger one, called as megaspore or macrospore. Macrospore or megaspores have been present. Now these spores are always produced in the sporangia. So here the sporophylls are covered by a leafy structures and they are called as sporophylls are covered by a leafy structures called as sporangia. Inside the sporangia there is a formation of the male called as microspore, the female is called as megaspore or macrospore. Now we go for the next one called as the microspore. So the microsporangiata, the microsporangiata, or we use a word microspore, is also called as the male. It is called as male strobili. It is also called as male cone. So here male strobili or male cone. So this usually produces male gametophyte. So they are male strobili produces the male gametophyte. So it is called as male gametophytic generation. Male gametophytic generation. This reduced male gametophyte produces pollen grains. So here the male gametophytic generation, this reduced male gametophytic generation produces pollen grains. So we go for the next one, the cones bearing megasporophyll. So cones bearing megasporophylls. So This is giving rise to spores bearing with megaspores. Ovules are called, it is called as megasporangiate. It is called megasporangiate. So here the ovule is giving rise to a female reproductive system, or it is also gives rise to megasporangiate, is also called as macrosporangiate. So this macrosporangiate is always giving rise to a female. So they are called as female strobili. They are called as female strobili, or they are called as female cones. So this is about the cones. So here both the male cone and female cones, the both male and female cones or strobiles are present in a same plant. When both are being born on a same tree, then it is usually called as monoecious. So here monoecious. So here we know that example called as pinus. So in a pinus, the male cones as well as the female cones are present in a same tree. For that we use the word monoecious. In some, the male is different and female is different. So the male cones and the female cones, the male and female cones are born on different trees. They grow on the different trees. For that we use the word dioecious. So here the word dioecious, it is different, unisexual. Male is separate and female is separate. This can be noticed in cycas. So in the cycas, the male and females are different. But majority of the gymnosperms all are dioecious. Majority or all are dioecious except pinus, which is a monoecious. The megaspore mother cell, megaspore mother cell. So this megaspore mother cell is distinguished. It is distinguished from one of the cell. It is distinguished from one of the cell of Nucellus. So one of the cell of Nucellus, it is distinguished to form megaspore mother cell. This Nucellus is having the presence of, this Nucellus has the presence of a complex structure. The complex structure called ovule. So one of the cell of a Nucellus forms the megaspore mother cell, and this forms a complex structure called as ovule. Inside this ovule, or the ovule is born in the megasporophyll. It is born in the megasporophylls, and this forms a female cone. This forms a female cone. Next, megaspore mother cell. The megaspore mother cell always undergoes meiotic division. It undergoes meiosis. It undergoes reductional division. Megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis or meiotic division to give rise to four megaspores. It gives rise to a 4 megaspores. So in this 4 megaspores, one of the megaspore is enclosed within the nucellus or within the megaspore to form multicellular female gametophyte. So I'll repeat this. So in 4 megaspores, one of the megaspore is covered or enclosed within the megasporangium and to give rise to a multicellular female gametophyte. So in this female gametophyte, it produces ovules, or we say it has 1 to 8 or 1 or more archegoniums are present. I am going to repeat this. In a female gametophyte, there is a presence of one to more archegoniums have been present, or it is nothing but a female sex organs. Female sex organs, there is a presence of one to many archegoniums have been present. Next, we are going for the pollen grains released from the microsporangium. Pollen grains released from microsporangium, or it is called as the male sex organ microsporangium. So in this microsporangium, pollen grains are released and it is carried by the air current, or it is carried by the air or wind. But here water is not required. When this pollen grains through the air goes and reaches the female sex organs or ovule, it goes and reaches the female sex organs called as ovules. So inside this ovule there is a fusion of male and female. So here the pollen grain produces a small tube called as pollen tube. The pollen grain produces a tube called as pollen tube. In this pollen tube there is a presence of two male gametes. So here in the pollen tube there is a presence of two male gametes have been present. One of the male gamete fuses with the egg. So one of the male gamete fuses with the egg of the ovule, and this leads to the formation of zygote. So here this zygote undergoes different divisions to give rise to a seed. So here there are two words. One, the zygote undergoes repeated division to give rise to embryo, and this embryo again it is giving rise to seeds. So we blindly use a word to make you confirm. The ovules gives rise to a seed. So this is very important. So just ovules always gives rise to seeds. So here the zygote converts into embryo and the ovules give rise to seeds. But very important here, the seeds are not covered by fruit walls. The fruit walls are totally absent and hence they are called as gymnosperms. So this seed is giving rise to new plant. So we are going for the classification of gymnosperms. So in this classification of gymnosperms, there are three classes are there. The first one is called as class Cycadopsida. So this class Cycadopsida, the example is Cycas. And the second one is called as class Coniferopsida. So in this class Coniferopsida, we can go for the examples called as Pinus and Siliquia, called as giant redwood tree. And the third example is called as class Neotopsida. So in this class Neotopsida, the example is called as Neetum. So we go for the next one, economic importance of gymnosperms. So in this economic importance of gymnosperms, the first one is sago plant. So in this sago plant, this is obtained from the Cycas revoluta. So from the Cycas revoluta, we extract the sago. So this sago is used for the stomach pain and it is easily digestible and avoids stomach disorders. Now we will go for the second one called as seeds of Pinus gradinaria. So this is called as Chilago pinus. So this it can be eaten. Thus this Chilago pinus can be eaten. Rosin and turpentine oil is acquired from the pinus. So it has been taken or it is acquired from the pinus. Next, the wood of jennifer's. This is used in the manufacturing of pencils. It is used in the manufacturing of pencils. Next, cedar wood. Cedar wood oil. this is extracted from the jennifer's and this is used in the nail polish removers. It is used in the removing of nail polishes. Next, stem of ephedra. So this ephedra stem is, from this we are obtaining a drug called as ephedrine. This is used to clear the respiratory problems like asthma, bronchitis, all. Next, Taxol is a anti-canceral drug. This is anti-canceral drug obtained from the bark of a taxus and this is commonly called as yew plant. Conifers called as Abies balsamea. It is a source of resin and from this we are extracting called as Canada balsam. So this Canada balsam is required for the preparation of permanent slides. So in the biological labs we are going to prepare mitosis, meiosis slides, all this. To fix this permanently we use Canada balsam in the biology labs.